I have to get into this Pete Hegseth stuff with you first because it's maddening.
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw the interview that Rick Scott did with Jake Tapper yesterday,
No.
but Rick Scott is saying, well, what's up with all these anonymous sources? And
Ugh.
then Jake Tapper says, well, if you want me to interview the woman that's alleging Pete Hegseth raped her, she's in an NDA. He paid her off so she can't speak about it. And then Rick Scott's like, oh, well, you shouldn't question her then. I'm like, I don't understand these Republicans that are talking about anonymous sources and they're so frustrated. And yet he's the one who's paying people off so they can't talk.
Yeah, I mean, they'll tie themselves into whatever kind of pretzels they have to, right, to accommodate this, because what they don't want to say, obviously, is they're basically the quiet part out loud, which is, yeah, we know this person is completely depraved, but this is who Donald Trump wants. And Donald Trump is also, by the way, an adjudicated rapist. So it's like, again, look at what they are okay with. They are telling us all the time what they're okay with. And when it comes to women, they are okay with 1000% subjecting us to the worst behavior possible. They don't care anymore about, they don't care about cheating. They don't care about rape. They don't care about sexual assault, violent sexual assault. They don't care.
Sadly, you're right. And don't you find it interesting, JoJo, that so many of these far-right radical MAGA Republicans always seem to find Jesus at the most convenient time? Pete Hegseth doing an interview with Megyn Kelly yesterday, and Megyn, appropriately, I'll give her some credit, even though I'm not a fan of hers, for asking him about the infidelities with pretty much every woman he's ever been with. And what does he say? Well, I'm not that man now, and I found Jesus. So what is that? What are we led to believe? That the next time he cheats on another woman, which will happen, by the way, he lost Jesus, and then he'll, like, it's like losing your car keys. I mean, like, they use Jesus as, like, that's what they do. They use Jesus conveniently. Oh, I just found Jesus. Just came from the sky. Just found him. Oh, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that Donald Trump wanted you in one of the most powerful jobs in the country. You conveniently now found Jesus.
Yeah, it's like Pete. When's the last time you remember having Jesus? Okay, let's retrace our steps. Go back to the last time you remember you had Jesus. You put it down. No, you never had Jesus. You never had Jesus, and you're conveniently using Jesus, just like their Messiah uses Jesus and being devout when he spends it every Sunday worshiping, Our Lady of the Perpetual Mulligan. I mean, these people, they will, again, back to the bending themselves into pretzels. They will literally bend themselves into the Bavarian, letter Q if they have to make sure that they accommodate the worst behavior possible.
Yeah. Can you imagine somebody that walked into a fast food restaurant and they want to, I don't know, work the register or flip burgers or whatever, and the guy who's interviewing you knows that you have a past of a drinking problem. And in that interview, the person who's the alleged drinker says, I promise if you hire me, I won't have another sip of alcohol. That person probably wouldn't be hired. We're talking about the Secretary of Defense. And he's saying, well, that's what he's saying. Oh, well, if I'm voted in, won't have another sip of alcohol. It's not a problem for me. Yet you have at least 10 people that either have worked with him in the past, that still work at Fox News, that are saying, yeah, they were very concerned about this guy. There's video evidence of him drunk at like midnight and then showing up at 7 a.m. at Fox News.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, that should be a pretty big red flag. Like when they ask you in an interview, like, do you have any questions for me, or do you have anything else to add? Traditionally, you don't say, I promise I won't do crack. I promise I won't get drunk on the job. I won't sexually assault anyone. I probably won't rape any kittens. Like, these are just not things that you say. You don't say them, because if you say them, it's like, well, why are you saying that? Because you don't have to say you won't drink on the job unless you have a problem with drinking on the job. You don't have to say you won't touch alcohol again unless you have a problem with alcohol, which is clearly the case. But again, this is the thing that's so maddening. What he's doing is giving them that plausible deniability where they're like, well, this thing that we were way more concerned about than the fact that he's got this past of sexually abusing women and serial philandering. Like, we're not going to worry about that because this drinking thing is a much bigger issue. But if he tells us it's not going to do it anymore, then by golly, he should have the largest department we have, and basically the largest employer in the country with a budget the size of, honestly, half of Europe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then he said he wasn't going to drink. What are we supposed to do? Not believe him? It's like alcoholism it's not an addiction. He just likes to get ragingly drunk or if to be dragged out of places. It's just for fun.
Yeah. Speaking of drinking, I think they would make a beautiful couple, Judge Jeanine and Pete Hegseth. I really think those two have a lot in common. So I don't know. Maybe we could link them up. But